For more on voter fraud worries and what we can expect from the Trump administration, conservative commentator and author Dr. Gina Loudon is joining me now. Dr. Gina, thanks for being with us today. Do you believe that voter fraud is specifically the idea that non-citizens are voting is a really big issue?
Oh, it's a rampant problem. I live in California, and I can tell you that I vote in someone's garage, put it in a paper box, and I asked them where they were taking it, who was picking it up. No one spoke English to answer that question, and nobody could tell me anything about what was happening to my ballot when it was all over. Not only that, I've noticed that most of the time when I do go to vote, they don't have record of me at all, and I've been a legally registered voter for a long, long time. And so it is absolutely a rampant problem. If you look at just one place in particular, East St. Louis, they have more people that vote there than are registered to live there. And that tells you, if you just do simple math, that there's definitely a problem.
Now, Dr. Gina, I think referring to the St. Louis thing, I'll address that by saying that perhaps there has been not enough purging of the voter rolls, the registers.
True.
That after people have passed away, which President Trump has talked about. But we'll get to that later. But I'm also a California native. I can tell you I've not ever seen a rampant cases, I should say, of any sort of voter fraud that you're speaking of, because I have numbers here, and as you know, there have been dozens and dozens and dozens of studies on this, and for example, I'm looking at one now that says between the year 2000 and 2014, only 31 incidents were found among more than 1 billion ballots that were cast. So how do Republicans respond to that when there's study after study after study that refute that?
Well, that's easy because no one's ever investigated it to the degree that the president is going to investigate it. And the reason is because it's very hard to investigate when you're only requiring a signature and no form of simple identification in order to vote. If you're just simply citing in and saying you're who you are, there's nothing to preclude you from doing that several times. And there's really no way to check and track that the people that said they were who they were really are that person. And that's why, I mean, again, we know that the voter fraud is going on. I think most people who have ever gone to a ballot box realize how easy it would be to cheat that system. And so I think we all, really everybody, should want honest and open elections. And the fact that the president said this is going to be a very transparent examination of what's happening at our ballot boxes, I think that the public will have a good chance to speak about how they feel about this whole investigation.
Now, you got to expect that a lot of people are going to say that this is an attempt for the president to prove voter fraud as his proof as to why he lost the popular vote, right? Isn't this more of kind of an ego argument then?
I don't really think so, but I don't know what difference it makes. Like I said, we all want integrity in the ballot box. I mean, we all want that. I know multiple examples of voter fraud, and I've seen the same studies that you saw, so I realize that is perplexing to some people. But I've also seen numerous accounts and heard numerous accounts from people that I just know who have had problems at the voter booth. So I think it's a good thing, and I think that everyone, I think you and I don't think you can ask anyone who's going to say they don't want to make sure that our system is an honest system that is available to all legal citizens.
But on the subject of at least voter IDs, then, how do you respond to people saying that voter IDs are a way to suppress the vote?
That's one of the worst arguments out there, because if that's the case, then I guess that driver's licenses are an effort to suppress driving, and having to show ID when you get on an airplane is a way to suppress travel. I mean, we could take that to its end. When voting is a privilege, as we know, it should be treated as such, and I think it should be treated as meticulously as the right to drive or the right to travel or any of the other things that could be somewhat impeded if people try to cheat the system. So I think it's I was so excited to hear about this, because we do all want honest and straightforward voting at the booths. We all want voter integrity.
Dr. Gina Loudon, thank you so much for always coming on the show and sharing your great insights. Thank you.